Hello, prospective graduate student. My name is George Woodward, and I'm a second-year student in Dr. Wazowski's research group. I started working in the lab in January 2020, but the bulk of my work started in the early summer sessions for obvious reasons. My current work mostly revolves around selenoprotein K, which is a small intrinsically disordered protein that contains the unusual amino acid selenocysteine. However, I've also worked with selenoprotein S, which is similar in those regards because it has selenocysteine in the wild type form, and it's also intrinsically disordered. You can find some information about these proteins and a lot more on our group website, actually. So, like most of my family, I'll give a bit of background for myself. Like most of my family, I'm from New Jersey, right across the river from Philadelphia. In fact, I was born in that city and lived there until I was about 4 or 5. Ever since I was young, I've been interested in the hard sciences, especially chemistry and biology. But after high school, I went to Rowan University to do my BS in biochemistry. I initially wanted to do micro or molecular biology, but I did a hard flip to chemistry halfway through my degree. I can attribute that to the fact that my chemistry professors went above and beyond to make the classes not only doable, but interesting. Uh, so my favorite classes paradoxically ended up being some of the hardest classes, such as senior biochem and senior physical chem. I also took an interesting class called developmental biology. Very difficult, but taught me a lot of things that interested me in research in biochemistry. In undergrad research, I studied cysteine synthase and the bacterium called Bacter crescentis, which can sequester lead as insoluble lead phosphate. Um, so a lot of my work in undergrad, in turn, had to deal with enzyme assays and calculations like that. When I applied to graduate schools, I didn't exactly know where to go if I got accepted. But then I visited University of Delaware after I got accepted, and it quickly became a top choice. The reasons range from practical to just very superficial and frivolous. Practically, the chemistry facilities are incredible, and there's a lot you can do as a graduate student here. Frivolously, I guess you could say the campus is close to home, and it's generally cheaper than New Jersey because there's no sales tax here. Um, Outside of research, though, I do have several hobbies. I play the saxophone. I've played since I was in fifth grade, and I can frequently draw. Um, because of the lockdowns earlier this year, I burned through essentially an entire sketchbook in about 3 months. And then after that, I just couldn't stop. That's not to say I didn't draw before, though. I drew recreationally all my life. Some examples I've done recently are the skyline of Philadelphia in an inking. This is something that took me way too long that I would not like to admit how long this took. I tried to finish it early on, but it quickly got um, more and more tedious. I've also done some personifications of the proteins we've been studying. You can kind of guess what I'm talking about with this one. I mentioned these two early on in this recruitment video. I've also done a lot of portraitures and other inks, like, for example, everybody's favorite mob boss, Vito Corleone. And a lot of my work was that I'm not going to show in the interest of time. Also have to deal with um, lots of comic book interpretations, lots of classical art influences such as Greek structures, Roman structures, and so on. I'm also an avid reader. I haven't been able to read too much recently, but so one of my favorite book series is actually The Witcher. It was recently made into a Netflix series and got very high ratings last year. Um, so back to University of Delaware, though. In the near future, I will actually be having my first committee meeting where I meet with the committee members I requested and discuss my future plans in the PhD program. And then after that, I will hopefully have my oral preparations and become listed as a full PhD candidate at University of Delaware. And that's about it for me. Not just lab, not just hobbies. I like to balance my work and personal life so that I don't go insane by doing straight work all day, every day. Uh, I hope you seriously consider University of Delaware as one of your top choices. For one, it's very close to several major cities. It's in the heart of Delaware, a very small state, and you can access Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, even DC and Virginia. The facilities are incredible. The professors have some very interesting research projects, and we have a very diverse cast of graduate students in my year. We have very diverse backgrounds in what research we've done, what we're interested in, and so on. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your recruitment at University of Delaware.